So that Monday Night Raw, huh?
Yeah, how about it? It was very raw.
It was too raw for TV. That's why a lot of people, I think, turned it off.
So raw. Too raw for television.
hmm So I guess let's just get into it. So we're gonna talk about the Monday Night Raw that just happened. This is the pre-Hell in a Cell. So good stuff is coming in quotation marks.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly sold it enough, didn't they? It's like, and, this Sunday at Hell in a Cell, this coming Sunday, did we mention this Sunday?
Yeah, and I mean, right before Raw went on the air, I was on Twitter. I'm like, what I could tell was going to happen? A whole lot of tag team action because they got to shove all the cameos in everywhere.
It's true. They got to remind you of all the players. It's just like comics in a way.
Oh, man. So, first off, I mean,
Steve Austin came out and got an
yeah.
absolutely huge pop.
Oh, of course. I mean, huge pop. It's Texas. Well, who doesn't love Steve Austin? I mean, it was great to see him, but here it started like right off the bat started the big problems of the night. He's out there, and instead of doing what he's supposed to do, try to do something good, try to remind people why they're here to see Austin, he's like, "Oh man, Undertaker and Brock, you guys excited?
Ain't that gonna be good? I had matches back in the day." Also, I think he kind of maybe misspoke a little because didn't he say, and this will be Undertaker's last Hell in a Cell match?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's famous. Like I've explained to you off the air why everybody chants "what" when he messed up his lines before. So,
and we got lots of "what" in this show too. Yeah, off mic, Armin had to explain to me what the "what" chants were all about.
Yeah, it's some good stuff. I don't know. It felt like throughout the night that all these stars, I guess we'll just jump around and then we'll talk about the match individually. They brought out Shawn Michaels and he's doing his thing and he's like, "Oh guys, I'm gonna tell you stuff," and it's like, "Oh, I'm just here to hype up the next match," and I'm just like, "Oh."
What I love about Shawn Michaels is Shawn Michaels doesn't give a fuck to try and dress up. He's like, "No, I'm gonna wear cowboy boots and my hat and my Remington shirt and I'm gonna eat a little kid's pizza because I just don't give a fuck no more."
That was quite amazing.
That was pretty good, and I like too. He gives Seth Rollins some shit, where it's like, people have been calling you, Shawn Michaels 2.0, which honestly I never saw the comparison until they pointed it out to me.
Yeah, that was one of the first comparisons I actually made because I was like, I see what they're going for because the way when Seth Rollins gets tossed into the corner, he does the front flip and oversells it. There's a lot of parallels there between the two.
Honestly, the way I felt it was that, Triple H was grooming him to be like a Triple H Jr., and they almost have a father-son relationship whenever something goes wrong. Seth Rollins goes running to Papa Hunter, and he's like, "It's okay, Seth, I'll make it all better."
Oh, man. No, Papa Hunter, pretty soon he's going to be like, "Listen, you're going to be terrorizing from WCW, Seth Rollins." It's like, no one wants that.
But yeah, so I mean, they had a little thing, and man, friggin' Seth Rollins got great heat by by getting right up in HBK's face, and I thought that was great.
Yeah, that was great. I think these two did good. If there was one match I think they should build up to WrestleMania, I would rather see HBK versus Seth Rollins than Seth Rollins versus Triple H. In all honesty,
you think he's still in shape for it? You think he would still do it?
Oh God, he looked massive when he was doing his stuff. So And come on, I mean, it's Shawn Michaels. He could come out there and at his worst, he will perform 10 times better than most of these guys coming back, to have one more match. So
that's true. He won't dress up for it, though. He won't wear the rhinestones. He'll have to take the sexy boy as he is, wearing what he's wearing.
He'll come out just wearing assless chaps, but he's still wearing just jeans under him. He's like, "No, guys, not anymore."
Still wearing jeans and still wearing the freaking, Remington cap and everything.
Pretty good. Overall, I think these parts of the shows were hit and miss, but how about some of them matches that happened? Yeah.
We got Cena and Dudley Boyz versus The New Day.
Yep.
That was pretty fun, although we're continually getting into this problem that I'm noticing now as a new wrestling fan, and that is the line between good guy and bad guy is very blurred, because even though they had won the match and it's like, hey, it's all good, but we're still going to put Xavier Woods through a table, though, because that's what the fans want, even though he's already beaten.
Yep, that's been a thing with the Dudleys, and John Cena's obviously in there, and It's still blowing my mind at John Cena's opening act on a Raw. I'm like, what?
He's the biggest thing ever. He's our current day Hulk Hogan. No, you open the show.
Yeah, you open the show and freaking with the Dudleys versus the New Day, but it's like, yeah, okay, whatever, you know.
Which honestly, in that situation, it's like, is Cena putting the New Day over, or is the New Day helping put Cena over?
Yeah, right. Because I mean, you know, the fans hate Cena. It's always half and half as we hear it when the crowd's chanting during his.
And I like too that the New Day is almost becoming self-aware because they come out and they're like, "We're the biggest thing in WWE," and it's like, yeah, you kind of are, and the fact that you know you are.
Live it up, live it up.
We are unicorns. We are beautiful unicorns.
Now we did have two women's matches for tonight because we have to have two. Now neither one was generally bad match, but neither one was as good as they should be.
Yeah,
like at least they had Sasha Banks in one, and I mean she's probably the best diva currently wrestling. So.
Yeah, I mean, like, even though I'm new to it, everyone said, no, you got to watch the Sasha Banks Bailey thing. You got to watch that match. And I did, and I'm like, how can this be so good? And the regular stuff on the main roster on Raw be so kind of boring.
I think every wrestling fan right now is literally just waiting for Vince McMahon to step down and give it to Triple H. Because Triple H is smart enough. He brought James Storm from TNA to freaking NXT. And he's killing it over there. Like, he brought Samoa Joe. Like, Triple H understands the wrestling business. So, when you watch NXT, you get all this quality and good wrestling. And, like, you watch Raw, you're like, all right, well, how many times are you going to insult my intelligence tonight, Vince?
As many as it takes.
Clearly. So other stuff. Now, I think the main thing that everybody's going to want us to talk about, which we'll jump right to the... well, actually, let's jump right before the main event, which we had... Kevin Owens versus Mark Henry.
Mark Henry, yeah. Which, even though they were in Texas, and even though he's local, and even though you would think they would throw the local guy a victory, they don't. Man, Kevin Owens has just been unstoppable as of recently. They've just been feeding him all these wins. My favorite part was, obviously, we missed a week, but I liked it when he was just bullying the Lucha Dragons for no reason. He's just like, Lucha, I don't like you guys. Fuck you. And he beats up both of them singly.
Good old Lucha Dragons.
Although it is pretty freaking cool to see, Kevin Owens pick up a dude as big as Mark Henry and slam him around.
Oh yeah, that was great. It was a quick match, but I think the main event is the thing that kind of most people are going to talk about, which are obviously the Wyatt family, which Eric Rowan was kind of back, and no one was saying much. They're like, where's the other dude?
Nobody cared.
Mm-hmm. Versus... Well, I mean, they took on S.H.I.E.L.D., and that's why nobody cared.
Yeah, the re-put-together S.H.I.E.L.D. only, with Seth Rollins only kind of half in him being forced to do it because HBK made fun of his manhood and said, I bet you couldn't do this even if you wanted to. I'll show you. I'll freaking show you, HBK. I'll get in there.
Yup.
Although I like the bit where he kind of like faked an injury at one point where it's like, oh, my leg, I can't wrestle with you guys. Bye. I'm leaving now.
I'm going back to my home planet.
Yeah, really. Seth Rollins died along the way. But oh yeah, I mean, I guess it was cool to see like a redo of the Shield, but at the same time, it's like this is still the same match we've seen over and over again. I'm sick of seeing these guys fight each other. But, and this is a big but here, this is the thing about wrestling, something that I'm noticing. It can be really lame in the beginning and then really win you back near the end, because there was the bit there where Reigns, he comes flying out of the ring and knocks over all three of the Wyatts.
Oh, yeah.
And indeed the crowd starts chanting, "This is awesome." And I'm like, I agree, this is kind of awesome. I wish you saved this for Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, we are going to transition to our Hell in a Cell talk then. So
do you have the matches up of who's fighting who?
Oh, I sure do.
Let's go through the whole card, and then we'll see how right we are after Sunday.
All right, so the big thing we're going to talk about here is, of course, let me just pull up a thing so we can, I guess, discuss the matches. So we have Dolph Ziggler, Cesaro, and Neville versus Rusev, Sheamus, and King Bear. So the same match we've been getting for the last 6 months.
So it's the Who Gives a Fuck crew when they're on their own, but we're gonna put them together in a 6-man and hope you give more of a fuck. And again, there's no story going into this. It's just, hey, here's 6 guys to start because of that, and because they're throwing it on at the beginning of the show. My prediction is faces win just to get the night started off.
Yeah, it's got to be. I'm calling Ziggler gets the pin.
Yeah, it's always got to go around Ziggler. Again, there's a lot of talks and a lot of rumoring of like a Ziggler heel turn coming up very soon. Maybe not now, but maybe I was gonna say maybe if they did lose, it would be something for Ziggler to be like, "Grr, the face is done, let me down." But overall, I still think it's going to be a face victory.
Yeah, it's got to be. There's no way they go into a big pay-per-view, with that. And this is like the pre-show match, I believe. So
who gives a shit about the pre-show match? When has the pre-show match ever been important?
I know, and something I want to talk to you about. I guess we'll talk about it at the end of the show, and I'll give you the idea, and you tell me how you feel about it. But let's just go on to the next match, which is Charlotte versus Nikki Bella.
Charlotte's got to win.
You think?
I think Charlotte maintains. I think she wins. I mean, as much as I don't really care about the so-called Diva Revolution so far, I think they're going to let Charlotte keep it just a little bit longer.
Okay, I'm going the other way. I'm saying Nikki wins it, and mainly because of the rumors that John Cena's going to be leaving for a few months.
Aha, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that has some bearing on the next one.
Right, and, that's the big thing that I kind of get out of this match. I feel like they need to give it to someone that's in Cena's camp, and obviously that, but, let's talk about the next match, which obviously, John Cena versus unnamed mystery opponent. So, I feel he's got to lose this one, right?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. If he's leaving, he's got to give up the belt to someone. And the hot rumor is, and again, you can tell how into wrestling I am now because I actually read this. Tyler Breeze, Mr. Pretty from NXT. There's, he's been called up to the roster now, to the main roster. Do you think he's the mystery man? Tyler Breeze gets that, the American belt, and that's his big intro to the main roster. Ha ha ha! I beat Cena in one night, and now I have a belt.
See, I could see Tyler Breeze because I actually like him in NXT. I think he's pretty good. Here's my feeling. My feeling is the mystery opponent is going to be Cesaro.
Okay.
I've read that backstage that John Cena is super high on Cesaro. I mean, you look at them when he has a singles match and when they really advertise it for the show, there's tons of people in the crowd that love him, and I feel like he could use that push because ever since he won the Andre Giant Memorial, whatever the fuck, like 2 years ago, it's went nowhere.
It's true.
I feel like they could give him this title.
And the fans really love Cesaro, too.
Right. He's over with the crowd enough and hone him into some sort of mid-carder level and get him away from the goddamn pre-show match.
Yeah, really. That would be interesting. I would be fine with that. But where would the story go with that, with Cesaro with the American belt? Would he continue to challenge for it every night like Cena did, or would they try and, roll that into another storyline?
Since I feel like that's a dead goddamn title, like they don't know what to do with it, I feel like they roll with the same story. He's like, well, I defeated a great man, and and he's gone now, so I'm going to keep up his challenge to open the, floodgates to the best in the world, so.
Because that title, as long as I've been watching wrestling, and I can't imagine since you, it's just kind of been the Cena title, is what
I'm not going to lie, the U.S. title, since I've been watching wrestling my entire, time I've been watching wrestling, like 15 years, actually, like 17 years now, it's pretty much been a useless title.
Oh, has it? Okay.
It's always like the mid-card title that's kind of used to elevate people, but then they forget for a while, and then they're like,
it's the pity prize. It's the third one.
Yeah, it's that type of thing. But so we'll see. I guess we jotted down. We both think Cena loses, and I got jotted down. Who we think will win. Next up, Seth Rollins versus the Demon Kane.
Yes, and they're sticking this one in the middle of the show, which is funny.
So Seth Rollins.
He's got to win. That's got to be the thing. It makes no sense for Demon Kane to beat him is the thing. Even if it was like the big farewell tour to Kane and the character, even though the loss of this match means that corporate Kane gets fired, but maybe that just means we'll just see Demon Kane forever now and he'll stop being corporate.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I'm like, it's got to be coming up to Kane's time, and they're probably going to resort to having Kane like a special appearance character like Undertaker, So
right, which would be good because Undertaker's get up there. But with the caveat, regardless of how that match goes, I'm putting my money in that Sheamus is going to run in at that point.
Oh man, that would be good. I could see that.
I think he's going to run in, and because Seth Rollins is pretty over, this would be the perfect opportunity to go for a Rollins good guy turn if they wanted. That is, he loses to Sheamus. And because of that, the Authority starts treating him differently, and they're like, "No, Sheamus is our favorite son now. We love Sheamus." And because of that, that was done. Keep going.
I could see that, honestly, and since Survivor Series is coming up, we could have the Authority is probably going to back someone like the Wyatts and maybe have Seth Rollins, good guy, be like, no, guys, listen, I'm totally a good guy. Listen, I'll bring the Shield in. We're going to have, like, a special guy. We're going to take out the Authority. So, I could see that, honestly.
And then he starts, like, his redemption story of, like, oh, I buried the hatchet with the Shield, and, and now I'm good guy Seth Rollins.
I could totally see that. So I'll jot you down for Sheamus run and face turn.
But would people be willing to accept face Seth Rollins? Because I kind of love him as a bad guy. I love him as like a nasty shit.
I do too. But see, here's the thing, right? And here is how wrestling fans work, especially those smarks online, right?
And like us.
Like there's these hardcore guys that they love what Vince tells them to love, even if they hate it. So if tomorrow, like, did you watch when Sheamus came back?
Yes.
Everybody was cheering when he returned and his music was playing and he came down and he was doing a good guy thing. And the moment he does the kick to the guy they loved, they automatically turn on him and start chanting, "You look stupid." So the wrestling fans will respond to whatever the fuck you want them to respond to, unless it's Roman Reigns.
Fair enough.
So, I could see that. But we got the next day, the New Day coming at us.
Versus the Dudley Boyz. I think the Dudleys have to win this one, I think this is going to be another, after getting their asses royally kicked during Raws and everything, I think this has to be their victory. They get their 10, and then, the New Day can come back around and beat them again.
See, I'm calling the same thing. I think Dudleys win. But they keep it through Survivor Series. At TLC, they offer to challenge them in the match that they made famous, along with Edge and Christian and the Hardys, and that's when New Day lives it back, thus passing the torch. So
that's a beautiful way to do it. That's a very nice, feel-good torch-passing moment.
Right, and let's talk about a match that Kevin Owens versus Ryback.
Owens wins. Owens is way too hot right now. He kicks Ryback's ass, then he moves on to better feuds is what he moves on to.
See, I feel like that Ryback's going to get it back.
Do you think so? Because they served him up a loss on Raw by having Rollins beat him just recently.
Right, finally, after he's been pinning everybody left and right. So
it's true. I honestly, I think Kevin Owens can't be stopped at this point. I think he's too hot. I think he's too beloved right now. I think he gets to beat him is the thing, which, sucks for Ryback, but I don't really like Ryback. So maybe that's my own fanness coming out where it's like, no, Kevin Owens wins because I want him to win.
Right. No, you listen to what I tell you to. Let him win.
Yeah, the fact that I want it maybe makes me feel that I won't get it is the thing. Like, that'll be the upset.
Uh-huh. And then we have two more matches to talk about, which I think the people obviously that are going to listen to this are going to want us to talk about. And so let's talk about Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt. What is being titled as the goddamn end to this 9-month feud or whatever it's been.
About goddamn time. And you know what? Really, this is a lose-lose as far as I'm concerned. If Roman wins, that finishes the feud. Thank God. but also completely buries the new Wyatt family, and they stop being threats and stop being interesting.
If Bray wins, the feud's got to continue until the good guy wins.
Yeah, absolutely, because that's the way these sorts of stories go. You can't have the Wyatts win and then have the feud end because they're like, ha ha ha, we're evil.
Haha, remember how I plastered images of your daughter everywhere and like burned stuff in effigy around her? Nope, don't continue fighting me for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, too, it's just like, I want to like the Wyatt family so much because they're creepy backwoods Satan rednecks. But can they please stop fighting the mercenaries? Can you have them like mess with anyone else, please?
Yeah, it's odd.
I would love to ask them about it. I'm like, how do you guys feel that you've basically wrestled the same match for 5 to 9 months now, depending on how you count it?
True. Oh my god, I just figured it out. What if Cena's beat by Bo Dallas?
Ah, now there's a good one. But like he gives it up where he's like, oh, I like you, Bo. Here you go. You can be the new American.
I'm just going to lay down for you Hulk Hogan style, and we're going to fucking get this done.
I would like that. See, if you believe, you can have the American Championship.
Oh, that's good. So let's talk about the last match, which we saved here for the end. The match that everybody is gonna be, at the edge of their seat because it is the most overhyped match in goddamn years.
Yes, it is.
Can't this possibly live up to it? Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar, Hell in a Cell.
No, I already feel it underperforming right now. I already feel it.
Every time they've wrestled so far, it's underperformed, and the crowd just kind of goes, So, adding it in a cell, which these two have already fought each other in a cell, in a mediocre Hell in a Cell match when you compare it to this contemporary. So what's going to change this one? Because it's Undertaker. He's not going to the top of the cage. Brock isn't flying off the top of the cage. They can't do straight chair shots to the head anymore. So what do we get here that
what's
makes
even
this
to look forward to? Yeah,
I don't get it. I don't get this match at all.
This match feels like something like a commitment, like something they had to do. Is the thing, and you're right. Like I don't see what's the big trick gonna be here. What's the big payoff? And they have to win clean because if we get another timekeeper tap out controversy bullshit, people are gonna start flipping cars if that's the case. So I mean, I just don't know. If I had to put money on it, Brock's gonna win because there's no point like giving a victory to the Undertaker at this point just to make the fans happy.
Yeah. I'm at this dilemma. I feel like Undertaker's obviously going to stick around as super part-timer. Brock is a part-timer, yes. So whoever wins it, the fans lose. It doesn't matter. It's like the AVP thing,
It's the battle of the part-timers is what it is. The part-timers and the old-timers is the thing.
Yeah, so the way I'm looking at this is Brock is going to win.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to win clean by himself, but I really feel like Undertaker's got to get screwed by someone to set up his WrestleMania match. And I feel like if Sting is good enough now, Sting's going to attack.
How's Sting doing these days? Like, I thought he was legitimately hurt.
Well, here's the thing. And I don't know how much about that hurt thing I believe, because when someone is hurt, right, they always confirm it. And they say, oh, this person was injured and things like that. And WWE did that. But here's what they did. When Daniel Bryan was injured, they confirmed he had these scans and he wouldn't be able to wrestle and he has to have surgery and all this, right? When Sting got injured, I put injured in quotation marks, their report said, we are confirming reports online of Sting's injury. So they're not confirming that he's went and treated all these doctors, that he's in, condition to never wrestle again. They're confirming what the internet is saying. Just like when they confirmed that The Undertaker fell, after his match with Brock at SummerSlam, but that was confirmed to just be him overselling. So do you see what I'm saying here? Like,
right. It's hard to, get like the writing from the truth and everything. Now, while we're on the subject of injuries there, they kept selling on Raw last night where it's like, oh, and Randy Orton is hurt. Randy Orton was injured. Now, is that a real injury that they're playing off as a show injury, or what's the deal with that?
I haven't even really looked into that because I really don't like Randy Orton.
Well, it was such a lame sell to the audience where it's like, oh, and the Wyatt's done got him off camera, and I'm like, really, or did he like just slip in the shower or something?
Yeah, it's odd. I'm really confused. I wonder if they're just doing that to make he's injured, then he comes back and beats Cena, which would be another fuck you to the fans, because this would be like the fourth Hell in a Cell in a row where they face each other.
With Orton and Cena. Yeah, wouldn't that be some shit? Orton comes out, ha ha ha, I tricked you, is what I did with the voices in my head. They told me to trick you.
Oh, God damn. I don't. It's. I feel like it's going to be a decent Hell in a Cell, but I feel like only one of the actual Cell matches is going to be good, and that's Bray and Roman.
Yeah.
So overall, I think I'm excited for the pay-per-view.
Me too.
Raw, I would give like a 6-5 maybe.
Yeah, I mean they saved it near the end with the this is awesome, but beyond that, it was kind of a forgettable lead-in.
Yeah, it's how they roll. Weeks on, weeks off. So I guess we'll be back. We'll discuss Hell in a Cell after this weekend and Raw and all that. We'll see the fallout from it. So
yep, it's a cell and you can hell in it.
Oh, you sure can. You sure can. Now, Joel, I've been wanting to ask you this question, so I guess we'll talk about it here in this discussion. Now, during your time watching wrestling,
last couple months,
right? Have you ever seen fans complain about that they want the brand split again?
No, I haven't actually. Explained that one to me.
Okay, so in a bunch of big wrestling groups I'm on, and on Facebook and all that, and on Twitter, if you look at it, fans are demanding back for the brand split. Now, way back when WCW was bought by Vince McMahon, they wanted to make SmackDown the WCW show.
Right.
But no one would take the name WCW because it was stained with terrible, right? So they went on for a couple more years, and then they decided to split the two brands and do the draft, like like the football, the athletes draft.
Nice.
So you would tune in for Monday Night Raw, and after every like vignette, they would go to the back and they'd have it. It was completely randomized. Not even the superstars knew where they were going. This wasn't all made up. And they'd be like, "Hey, Cena, you're going to SmackDown. Hey, Undertaker, you're Raw. Hey, Edge, you're SmackDown. You have the title, so you gotta go. Hey, commentators that have been commentating together for 20 years, you're split apart now."
Oh, wow.
It was genuine shock. And how they would do it is SmackDown had its own storylines, Raw had its own, and they never crossed up until the big 4 pay-per-views of the year. Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Survivor Series, and SummerSlam.
That sounds very comic book, doesn't it? Where it's like you exist in your own universe until the big events.
What was good about that was it was pretty much the best time to be a wrestling fan because you had 2 distinct shows being run by different people, different tones, 2 world champions. You had the WWE champion on Raw and the world champion on SmackDown. Or it might have been the other way. I can't remember right now. And,
one sounds better than the other.
Right. And what was really cool about it was you got to see your favorite superstars every week, and they didn't get buried. So a lot of people have been saying, bring that back next year because USA Network is getting SmackDown now, and they're talking about going live. So essentially, a lot of people are saying, listen, do that. And then you can make someone that's an up-and-comer, like let's say you finally want to try out Roman Reigns as champion. Give him the SmackDown title. You can have people like Bo Dallas and King Barrett finally do mid-carder level and in an actual feud, and you don't have to shove everybody into 3, 6-man tag matches per Raw.
That does sound pretty interesting.
I mean, every time I hear about it, and everybody's always like, please just bring it back, because it worked a lot better. We got better storylines and more wrestlers to showcase their talent. So, I mean, I feel like they should. And now that I've kind of explained to you, would you be interested in seeing that?
I would definitely be interested in trying it out. I know since I've started watching wrestling, a lot of people have been saying, no, don't watch SmackDown. That's the one you don't need to watch. It's the one that literally, if anything important happens, they summarize it in a couple seconds on Raw.
And SmackDown is literally like the highlight show. But here's the thing. From 2000 to 2008, SmackDown was the premium show. You would watch SmackDown and almost skip Raw.
Huh.
Like, it was that much better. Like, better stars there, better storylines. Just everything was better. Like, Eddie Guerrero was, big time over there in his time. Like, just everything worked out way better on SmackDown.
Now, aren't they kind of doing that already with NXT? Although I suppose they didn't think NXT would become its own brand and would have its own following the way it has.
Exactly. So NXT's like their third brand, So it's like, I really wish they should could kind of split it, because they should and could, because, hey, it gives us more ability to see people we want.
It's true.
But then again, there's the argument, is there enough big stars, which I argue too. Well, that's how you make stars, so.
By giving them a chance.
Because they're up in the sky, bright lights.
You press X to reload. Tonight is the night.
Call of Duty, pretend.
I love no matter what we do, it always comes back to trying to sing the theme song.
I have it on my phone. I don't even know the lyrics.
It's true. No one knows the lyrics.
They're so secret. Tonight is the night. So thanks for joining us, guys. We'll be back to discuss the post Hell in a Cell, see how our results were. I got them clocked in here. I'm going to clock them in. Now we can't change them. They're locked in the safe, Joel.
Yeah, you can't stop it. Can't stop it now.